may have noticed that the focus of artgivinghope.org has changed in the last year or so. By profession, I am a foot and ankle surgeon. I have a subspecialty in diabetic limb salvage. A lot of times what happens with diabetics is they get wounds in their feet, they have really bad blood flow and bad immune system, so these wounds get infected, the body can't heal them very well, and they end up with amputations. And one of the saddest statistics in the diabetic world is that if you lose a leg, let's say a below the knee amputation, statistically you've got about 5 years to live. That's not always the case. You can live a lot longer or shorter, but that's the average number. So there's a cause and effect there to some degree, and my job is to stop that process if at all possible. I was introduced to the plight of the Tongan people a few years back, and it fit my wheelhouse perfectly. They deal with 80% obesity rate, 40% diabetic rate, and that translates into a ton of diabetic wounds and amputations, far more than it should. So I've decided to wrangle my charitable efforts with my and pair that with my professional connections and try to make a difference in Tonga. Tonga is a little island, a big series of small islands in the Pacific Ocean, a few hours by airplane from Australia and New Zealand. The Tongan people are Polynesian. They are fantastic, awesome people, and the country is small. It's underfunded, of course, as a lot of countries that size and their position are. And so I discovered that I'm in a position I could help. So here we are. This last summer, my wife and I and my two oldest kids took a trip to Tonga, along with a group called Amanaki. They are a group that's been doing diabetic limb salvage trips to Tonga for, I think, 10 years now. And we went with them. They showed us Tonga, introduced us to the Viola Hospital, the amazing people that work there. And I came home with a bigger desire to help if possible. So since we returned home first part of August 2024, we've been able to ship either through our charity or through some sister charities 4 different 8-foot by 4-foot crates of medical supplies. Supplies they use routinely, but also things like pulse-evacs and wound vacs. And we've sent wound vac supplies, pulse-evacs for surgical debridement of wounds, lots of basic wound care supplies such as betadine, gauze, tape, and the rest. And hopefully that'll help them out for the next year or two. We are planning to go back every year. I'm going to take a team of podiatrists, foot and ankle surgeons, as well as non-medical people to do different service projects and things. One thing that we're planning on doing with our non-medical team is to do diabetic height, weight, BMI screening, blood pressure as well. And we're putting together enough supplies and manpower to screen, I hope, 1,000 kids. And we're going to start with seniors and then the next year up in school and see if we can't nip some of this in the bud. Of course, the most important thing you can do with a diabetic situation is to prevent it in the first place. So we're doing both that and treating those that are in trouble already on the back end in the hospital. So super excited about this. All of this to say, I could certainly use your help. One of my biggest goals is to set up an endowment for the Tongan medical system. The idea with an endowment is to raise enough money that it can be invested in the stock market. Stock market on average year to year earns about 10% interest. And the idea is to take the interest, not touch the principal, and put that towards all of these efforts with diabetic prevention and treatment of complications. I hope to grow this. I've got a massive goal of hitting $1 million endowment. That would give us, $100,000 a year to do different projects in Tonga. You can multiply that by 3 into the Tongan currency, and it can go quite a long ways. There's so many things that we can improve over there. One of the big issues is they have such awesome talent, native talent, but they can't afford to pay them very much, so the talent often ends up in other countries, other places around the world. Can't blame these people looking for a better paycheck, but that's one thing I'd like to offset, is to pay them more and keep the talent in Tonga so that they can become self-sufficient. My goal that is based on the advice I've given from people who've done a lot of humanitarian work around the world, is to hit a sustainability point, and that's the point of the endowment. So we would love your donations. If you could go to artgivinghope.org, you can see a donation tab, should be on the very first page. There's also the bank account information there, where you can send it directly. If you can do ACH, that helps us avoid any fees, processing fees. We can make sure that every dollar goes to where it should be. The promise I give to you amazingly generous folks is that every dollar will go straight to Tonga. I don't take a penny. I don't spend it on plane tickets or hotels or food or anything for our teams that go. It all goes towards cost of shipping and supplies that we use while we're there. So we also take medical supply donations. Please contact me first before you send things, so we can make sure it's things that we need. And yeah, please come visit us at artgivinghope.org, and would love your help. Thank you. Have a great week.